Gunline, gunline, gunline. Fire mission coming down. It's your host Lopez, and you're listening to the On the Gunline podcast, where we shoot the shit like we did in the past. So go on and pop a squat because it's about to get hot. You're on the Gunline now. Right now, I'm just waiting for two guests to arrive. I'll give you a quick fucking backstory on how I know these cats. We served together out in the great country of the Republic of Korea, South, that is. We were there stationed together when I was there in 07 and 08. So, yeah, this should definitely be a good time. Good stories. I don't remember much of Korea. I'll let you know that right now. I don't remember much of that shit, but I do remember them. And once they get on here, I'll go ahead and, definitely fill in some blanks. But we served together in Alpha Battery, 1st Battalion of the 15th Field Artillery. Fucking first to fight, baby. Was it first to fight or fight tonight? First to fight. Keep the fight, keep up the fight. I don't even fucking remember. Anyways, great time out there in Korea. I'm gonna be having on here. One of them happens to be a smoke right now, and the other one is retired. And as soon as they get on here, we'll go ahead and fucking continue with them. I sent out the invites to their asses already, but apparently they don't check their fucking emails. Let's see. Let's shoot out these messages to them if they're ready. Email sent. All right. There's one cat that I sent it to, and then the other cat. Email sent. So while they start coming on here, how have you guys been doing, man? Are you guys, did this week fly by for you all? For me, it did. It's 8:05 here in the great state of Texas, where we're finally going to be able to act like grown folks and not have to wear a fucking mask if we don't feel like it. So, I mean, it obviously do be fucking, what's the word I'm looking for? Use your common sense. If you're going to be in an area that you know is going to be packed to the fucking gills or going to be like sardines, just mask up, yo. But with that said, I mean, if you're 6 feet away from a motherfucker, why do you need to wear a mask? I still wonder that, Anyways, those are just simple thoughts in my head as I wait for these motherfuckers to get on here. And also, I've been waiting for you all to send me some messages, man. Let me know what's on your mind. I'd love to fucking speak with y'all. Oh, we got one coming in right now. All right. Let me bring them on at this time. And welcome to the Gunline. Joining us at this time here is my boy, fucking Rosa. Rose is joining us. He looks like a mild retard right now, especially since he's wearing that fucking Detroit hat. So we got Rose on here. I don't think his audio is working yet. Next, we have coming to the Gunline, Watts. Their audio are connecting at this time. Rose, can you hear me yet?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I got you, baby. I got you. Welcome to the Gunline. Just to let you know,
buddy.
We are recording already. We are recording. And for some reason, Watts is trying to be incognito.
Oh.
There he is.
Oh.
What is up, Watts? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I hear you. You hear me?
Yes, sir. What's going? I see the insides of your nostrils really well.
Hey, man. Yeah, man. You can blow it out.
Come on, Smoke Man. You better than that, Smoke Man. Holy shit. What is up, Watts?
What's the word?
Holy shit. Welcome to the Gunline, y'all. I want to let you know that I am recording already. And so I just I didn't know how long y'all were going to take to get on here. Plus, it only gives me 45 minutes when, there's 3 of us. So if we have to, we'll stop it off and then we'll pick back up. Sound good to y'all?
Works for me.
Works for me, man.
Outstanding. Holy shit. So we got 2 retired veterans and an active duty fucking smoke man who's probably done with his smoke time already. Ain't that right?
Yeah, I just finished up.
Holy shit. Well, since you're the youngest one here, let's start off with you. Young man, where are you from? Who are you? Tell us about yourself.
From San Bernardino, California. Joined the Army about, 2007. Finished up at Fort Sill, 1st Duty Station 115 FA, Alpha Battery.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5th.
And there it is. Fell under, actually Rose was the gunner when I showed up, and then he ended up being the chief right when Fam left.
Oh, you were under Fan?
Yeah.
Orale. Fucking Fan. I wonder
So
what happened to that dude.
no clue. Dude fell out the face of the earth, man. I sent that dude an email at some point. That dude had never replied, so I guess he didn't want to be contacted.
No shit.
Yeah. So yeah, I spent 2.5 years in Korea. Left Korea, went over to Carson.
Yeah.
Under 316. Supposed to deploy with old Rose here, but Rose wanted to take the easy way out. And,
Yeah, he did.
Hit toe up out the army and stuff.
Yeah.
I ended up deploying to Afghanistan with Alpha Battery 316 with Staff Sergeant Bonds at the time.
No idea who that is.
Did my stint there with him, and after I got promoted to sergeant, got ready to deploy to Kuwait with that whole mission. Got pulled for recruiting. Did my 3 years in recruiting. Came off of recruiting, got here to JBLM.
Let me pump the brakes a little bit real quick. First of all, let's not say you deployed to Kuwait. All right, you did a rotation to Kuwait.
I was supposed to. I never went.
Oh, all right, dude. You get more of a combat patch for going to Korea than you do to Kuwait.
You're right about that. I would have had both at that point, but wasn't in the plan, wasn't in the cards at that time. You know what I'm saying?
Right on. So you did recruiting detail, and then you're in JBLM. Right on.
Yep. And then now I'm about to head to SIL. I'll be out of here in about a couple weeks.
Damn. So we got to watch what we say because he's still active duty, and then you're going
So
to
they got Mr. Gunner.
Good shit, man. Good shit. All right. With that said, let's go ahead and pass the mic to old Rose over here. I don't do first names. I suck at them, you know. And Rose, good to see you, brother. Last time I saw you, I think I fell through a chair twice.
Yeah. Twice. I think I have some video, or at least some pictures of it still. But I remember like it was yesterday for sure.
Tell us about yourself, Rose.
Oh man. I joined the Army in like 1998. I did like Korea, Kansas, Korea, Colorado, Korea, Colorado. Yeah.
Yeah, home.
Yeah. So, I mean, and then, you know, I deployed from Fort Carson to Iraq, and then now I work for the Army as a DoD civilian. So
ain't that some shit?
Yeah.
Right on, dude.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask y'all something since I got y'all on here. I ask everybody the same question. Why'd you join the Army? And then why'd you join Field Artillery? Let's start with you, Rose.
I joined the Army because, quite frankly, I was sitting in a community college one day. It was like the second week of class, and I was just sitting there, and I was just thinking, like, I'm not learning anything different than I learned in high school. This is quite literally a waste of my time. So it just so happens later on that day, a recruiter called me and asked me if I was still interested in the Army. And I was just like, you know what? I am. I was like, are you going to be in the office tomorrow? And then I went to his office. He showed me the cool little Field Artillery video.
Fucking video.
Staff Sergeant Friend sold me from day one. Field Artillery.
Fucking recruiters, man. They're full of shit, ain't they?
Easy contract. It was an easy contract right there.
That dude was cool as shit, man.
Looks like I'm losing some motherfucking vibes here. All right, we got you back. What were you saying?
I was gonna say Staff Sergeant Friend was actually cool because after I went to basic training or OSIT or whatever, that dude got stationed at SIL, and he came to the drill pad one day and picked me up for a whole solid day. That was good shit. So he took me off the drill pad, and we just went and chilled at his house for the day. It was pretty nice, actually. Not like that. It was legit.
Kind of fucking suspect. I don't know, man.
It was legit, man.
Yeah, I bet it was.
wasn't no Netflix back then either, so we already know. Straight to the chill.
Shit. Hey, there was no Netflix and chill. It was just we gonna chill. How about you, Watts? What got you fucking lured into the army aside from being from the Inland Empire where there ain't shit?
Actually, I finished school up at UTI, which is a Universal Technical Institute. I was working at Toyota and then Crown Lift Trucks as a technician, and then just kind of life happened, doing dumb shit with the girl I was with. Then I ended up homeless, kind of living in my car.
Oh shit.
And I did that for not very long because I wasn't, you know what I mean, wasn't in my cars. I wasn't feeling kind of like sleeping and not knowing what's next type of deal.
Right.
I had a cousin who was in the army, and he was just like, hey man, it worked for me, got me away from my crazy ass dad. So you know, it could work for you, but it's up to you if you want to sign the contract. My recruiter was also a 13 Bravo, Stats Sergeant Nystrom. Kind of just like, hey man, if you could pass the test, this, that, and the other, you know, it's up to you. I think at the time I had a repo, so I couldn't do like some jobs that had security clearances at the time.
Right.
So, hey man, this is your choices: cook, artillery, and some other stuff. And I was like, I'm liking that video with the blowing stuff up, I guess. But you know, my initial goal was to like, hey, I'm gonna do just 18 months and I'm gonna reclass because I'm gonna get my clearance. And then here we are 13 years later. Ain't happened yet.
13 years. Holy shit, I can't believe it's been that long, man. Because I do remember you in Korea. I don't remember much of Korea. When did you get to Korea? What month?
February of
Of
2008.
Okay. Yeah, because I ended up, well, shit. So you were there a hot minute while I was there then.
Yeah, pretty much. It was vague because you and who's that, Lowe? You guys were both corporals together, weren't you?
Oh yeah.
Don't remind me of that fucked up rank. God damn. Yeah. Ooh. God.
And then you were under Aguayo, and I just remember your section was just like bald-headed assholes, pretty much.
Yeah.
Damn, shots fired. Well, hold on.
But not necessarily like assholes to the point where y'all just like your standards were like nobody else had the same standards as y'all. So like you knew your section out of everybody else's section.
Right. Hey, baby oil on the motherfucking gun. Make that bitch shiny. Dude,
man, that shit.
It was funny because then they Rose, you became a chief out there. I think you got it, and then I ended up pinning 5, and I ended up getting the fucking section. I got Aguayo's old section. And weren't you in Camo, Watts?
He was the armor.
I got pulled up to armor.
Orale, okay. That's why. Okay, that makes a lot of sense now. So you're saying that fucking Rose threw you out the gun and put you in the arms room as soon as he became a chief, bro?
Nope.
I think it was like halfway through your time. I got pulled out, something like that.
It was nothing I asked for, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, it was.
I gotta ask y'all something. Who have you had any other first sergeant that has been to the same extent as fucking Kippy Samuel?
Oh shit! I thought you were gonna go with the Gator Pride dude.
Oh God, no! I would not bring him up.
I've had a first sergeant that was close in recruiting, but not necessarily as outspoken as he was. He was close, but he wasn't the same as Samuel's was in the sense of like how he carried everything.
On how Samuel would be like, I'll put these motherfucking hands on you.
Pretty much.
He just kept it real, man.
I got a guy that was close, but definitely he couldn't take the cake on that shit.
Shit. What about on the flip side, since Rose brought him up, did you guys ever meet another motherfucking first sergeant that was anything like T2000?
Talking about the one that was that first sergeant Roundtree put hands on?
Oh, I was gonna say that.
Spratt. Was it Tyrone Spratt? Is that his name?
Yes, sir.
So guess who a couple months ago when I did my JRTC rotation was the commander we had, which was at the time, Captain Lashley.
Okay, I remember him.
So he was the SFAB commander over here at 5th SFAB on JBLM.
Oh shit.
So like he was our partner for the rotation or whatever. So seeing him at the table for the op order, I just kind of looked across and I was like, dude, that's my first battery commander. What the fuck is this dude sitting here?
Fucking A, dude. Yeah, and then after him we had, was it Captain Thomas?
Yeah.
Marlon.
That
Marlon.
motherfucker was cool, man.
Yep.
I like that dude. Fucking A. So well, let's go ahead and leave the army bullshit. Well, not the army, but let's talk some stories, man. What are like some memories y'all have of fucking our time together in Korea?
I remember Watts bringing me through gate 1 when I was super trashed.
Word. Tell us about that, Watts.
Multiple times I didn't brought you through.
Watts saved my ass a couple times, man.
I didn't caught people, I don't know how many times I've going through the Ville, seeing people crying at the bar, pulled them, put them in the cab, sent them to the barracks, all kind of stuff, man. I remember one instance for sure was Lopez was on CQ, and I had come back from the clubs early, and I was in my room knocked out, and they ended up banging on the door and was like, yo, man, come get your boy. And I was like, man, fuck that shit. And it ended up being Johnson had shit on himself in the hallway.
Oh, shit.
And he was like, hey, man, you need to come clean this shit up. I was like, nah, I'm good. He ended up getting Johnson.
Silky Johnson?
Yeah.
Black
Johnson?
Oh.
Dude, I don't remember that, bro.
He had shit on the wall. Like he had pulled his pants down and shit on the wall on the 3rd floor.
Oh,
fuck.
And you were doing your checks and you woke me up and you were like, yo, come get this motherfucker. And I was like, man, fuck that. And I just left the door open, but.
Oh shit. Cause you know what? I remember, I think it was old Smiley. What the fuck was his name? Etheridge.
Oh, yeah.
I remember, I think his wall was full of shit as well. I remember that incident. Oh, fuck, dude. Goddamn Silky. I just hung out with Silky a couple of years back, man. He's a truck driver now. And he stopped out here in San Antonio. And we got to hang out together and shit and catch up, bro. Holy fuck.
I ain't seen him in a long ass time.
Dude.
What the hell do people be drinking to shit on themselves? That's what I want to know.
Soju. Hold
He
up.
probably makes Hennessy and soju or some crazy shit.
This is true, because you know we always pregame before we hit the motherfucking Ville. That was
right.
Standard goddamn data. I don't remember one time going to the Ville sober, you know, and I just remember getting fucking trashed. Now, y'all were there. No, Rose, I think. Well, no, you were there too. Y'all were there on my last day before I roast, right?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, because I left September 8th, 2008. So, according to Kippy Samuel, because I don't remember this, according to Kippy Samuel, I was running around the motherfucking hallways in the barracks, kicking motherfuckers' doors, saying, I'm out this bitch. I'm rich, bitch. That I was running pretty much halfway butt naked down the hallways in the B's. I don't recall this, but Kippy says there's video of me doing that shit. I don't know if that's true. Do you guys know anything about that?
I haven't seen the video, but I'd like to.
Dude, I don't remember. All I remember that night was that the Iranian or the Iraqi guy. What the fuck was his name?
Muhammad.
He had just won some money and he got all of us shit faced outside of the Iron Triangle. And I was fucking drunk as shit. I mean, beyond drunk. And I guess according to Kippy, that's what happened. I don't recall that.
Kippy don't lie, man.
He put these things on you, man. So shit. When you ended up leaving Korea after 2 years, what rank were you? Did you make 5 while you were out there?
No, I got at the time I was supposed to go to the board, but I ended up not going because my wife at the time was she had a miscarriage, so I didn't go to the board or none of that stuff. I just skipped it. And then I don't know, for whatever reason, Sergeant Major was just like, why didn't you go to the board was kind of like throwing that in my face. So I didn't really have a good taste for that shit when I left.
No shit. You know, that just reminds me of the shit that I saw on the fucking interwebs about some fucking there was a text message about some Joe that wasn't able to go to it was either go to the board or go to your fucking wife's fucking x-ray or ultrasound. And you know, they were like, well, if you don't go now, you can't go again. You know, and my question on that is, where the fuck is the chief right there? Be like, hey man, what time is the ultrasound at? All right, go do the ultrasound. I'll pull some strings and I'll get you in at least to go last. You know what I'm saying? Try to work some shit around. Have you seen a decline in NCOs? I mean, I don't know if you could even answer that because I mean, you know, being that you're still active, but have you seen a shift from the time when Rose and I were NCOs to what the NCO Corps is looking like now?
So yes. So I would say that from my experience of all of the NCOs that were there when I got to Korea to the NCOs I encountered throughout my time, it's you could definitely see the shift and the influence of outside culture and what it's pushing onto the Army in general. I went from having like, who's our smoke? Smoke Howell was my first smoke.
Yeah.
Like his mentality and how things went. Then we went from him to what, Lewis, Ace,
Yep.
Xenon, a couple other guys or whatever throughout the time that I was there. Like I watched a good group of people go in and out and kind of seeing that, would say like legacy style of leadership going into this transition of current leadership. It's hard to try to replicate any of that stuff and get away with it in today's Army. Okay. And it's hard to watch, not necessarily encounter it, but just even watch it when you're trying to like, man, back in the day we could do this, and now you're like, back in the day I'd be able to say back in the day, but now I gotta kind of just work in different ways.
Right, dude. And Rose, you that do you work on post?
Yeah. Yep. Okay. I work on Fort Riley.
Okay, so you still have a degree of a view, like a higher view of what's going on in the Army as a civilian, you know, now a veteran, I should say, not a civilian, you know, like, do you see like the active duty cats out there, and do you like bite your tongue or bite your lip like, God damn it, somebody check that motherfucker?
I do, but at the end of the day, I try not to concern myself so much with, you know, I don't want to be that old crusty veteran that sits there and decides what's best for a soldier when I don't know what's best for that soldier because I'm not his leader. So I'm not one that's going to get into another leader's lane and correct his soldiers or correct his NCOs just because I see something that I feel like is wrong. Maybe I don't know the new regulations. So, I mean, and I probably don't. And it's honestly, it's not something I want to learn. So, I mean, I see stuff and you know, like, you know, when you see someone for the first time, you know what kind of person they are right away just by the way they present themselves. So I still have that mentality when I see someone in uniform or when I see somebody's destroyed boots or like their guts popping out of their uniform, like they had no haircut in like 46 weeks, you know, same thing, different day, but
got them COVID locks.
Is that what they call it now? Bro, that's fucking crazy. I mean, it's just trips me out. Like, I think it's Rothfuss. I don't know if y'all remember Rothfuss. He hits me up from time to time and tells me if it's one standard I remember you always fucking hounded on us was the fucking boot blouses. Because I hated tucking in the fucking boots, you know, the blouse into the boots. I fucking hated that. So my section always had boot blouses, just mandatory, you know. And he's like, to this date, I still remember that shit, Sergeant Lopez. And when I had a section, I would make them do that shit too. Like, you know, that's what I'm talking about. Standard motherfucking data, baby. Ciao. So what kind of legacy do you think you're leaving, Watts? As you know, it's a trip. Like, honestly, I remember seeing you as a young Joe. I remember running into you while you were doing your, I think, BNOC phase 1 out there in Car. Oh, were y'all doing it? Was ALC in Carson. Y'all were in our motor pool, I think.
Doing ALC, yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing you there because I remember I saw my old soldier Pootie was there too. Fucking, but he was in a different unit. Oh, Ratnong. And then fucking
Ratno, oh Jimmy Ratno.
oh, you know Ratnong too then? He was in your class, right? For that ALC
Yeah.
shit? Yeah, that's right. So yeah, oh Pootie, you know that motherfucker's a recruiter now.
Yeah.
Yep. Fuck. Oh, just so y'all know, if y'all ain't from the gun line, artillery is a small fucking world. You know what I'm saying? So what trips me out is I'm thinking about it right now. Rose, you were in '98, you said, right?
Yeah.
I didn't come in until 2004, so you had some years already inside. So I'm pretty sure the same shit I'm saying about the Joes that were coming in, you were saying about the Joes coming in.
Well, I'll be honest. I got out of the Army in 2005, so I had a break in service, and I came back in when you met me in Korea, probably. So even to be fair, like that little 2-year break that I had while I was out of the Army, coming back in, because I got out as an E5 and came back in as an E5, it was different then, even just 2 years away. Like you could tell there was a culture shift just within 2 years of how NCOs led their soldiers, and how they treated their soldiers.
Okay. Dude, I trip out on the fact, like, you know, there's a lot of NCOs that are on their way out. You know, luckily we still have cats like Watts over here that, you know, he grew up under the leadership that brought him up to where he's at now, not taking anything away from him because, you know, he got himself where he's at now by doing the right fucking thing. You know what I'm saying? But combat tested, right? You've deployed a couple of times, Watts?
I got one deployment in Afghanistan.
At least you got one deployment. But you know, the way things are shifting, the way I see it, at least from my eyes, you know, the Army's getting rid of a lot of cats with the QMPs, with, you know, getting rid of solid fucking NCOs due to toxicity or whatever. And there's gonna be a war coming up here soon. The fucking, at least in my ears, I can hear the drum fucking, you know, already getting set up. And there's gonna be a lot of NCOs that are gonna be going out there with these young troops that have no qualifications in combat, you know. And how do you train to that? Like, how do you, in this new Army, how do you train for combat if they haven't been to combat?
One thing I do with my platoon and try to like have them understand, like there's like one style or one thing that I grew up with was like I was able to be off work and still hang out with Rose and some of the other guys or whatever, like, and do anything and everything under the sun or whatever the case may be, and had a good time. And
Right.
as soon as I came back to work, it was back to chief, sergeant, you know, the whole 9 yards. Like the discipline was able to be turned off and on, and we were still able to get things done without having that broken line of trust and respect. One of the things that I noticed within my platoon that I tried to change was that alone. Like, hey man, you hanging out with your guys, you hanging out on the weekends, and you guys are doing stuff. That's all fine, well, and dandy. That's not a problem. But when the moment when you guys come to work and you guys are still talking first name basis, and you guys are still acting like as if you guys are out on the weekends and you guys are out of uniform, like, yeah, we got to stop that. So like having those guys understand like work is work and play is play, you know what I mean, is a big thing. And then preparing them mentally for that combat thing, you know, when you're training, for them to understand their purpose and what they're doing. I think today's soldiers need a little more explanation of, like, I know you're unsure of why we're going to the field and doing table 12, 15, 18, blah, say blah. But the bigger picture of what your one round just did is this.
Okay.
You know, explaining that, it helps connect that picture. And you start seeing like the guys get a little more motivated when you come back. You're like, hey man, BDA came back, we just destroyed blah, say blah. And then they like, you're like, oh shit, you know, they get pumped up, and that kind of thing kind of helps.
So I see what you're saying. I think if I'm connecting the dots here, let me know if I'm wrong. You build up that fucking trust and camaraderie within each other as a family unit, right? And and then when you train, you know, I guess when we were coming up, we never questioned. I mean, if we did, a question between us, like, why the fuck are we going out here again? But it was within us. We never questioned higher, because higher would be like, shut the fuck up and do what you're done. You know what you're told. But Shit, I wish I had that. Hey, Smoke, can you let me know why we're going out here? Because we said so, motherfucker. That's why. Roger that. Shit.
Pretty
Anyway,
much.
but I get what you're saying. No, you're giving them a little more knowledge as to what their necessity is for us out there, which is cool, And like you said, when we fire from a distance, we don't hear what the fuck happens. The cool shit is when you hear like, yeah, man, we had to count legs because there was nothing left. So the only way that we could find out how many were killed were by counting fucking left legs. So, I mean, that's awesome, bro. That's great. And I think one of the biggest things that I did learn in Korea was the whole switch, being able to train when you needed to train. And then when you were out in the Ville, hey, all of a sudden it's not Sergeant Lopez, it's Lopez. You know what I'm saying? And when we drank, we chilled. We had each other's fucking back. But come Monday morning, like you said, back to work. I've heard from others that are still in right now that are in your position or higher that trust is gone now. Like, in general. I'm sure there's onesies and twosies that still have that good camaraderie and don't snitch on each other, but everything's so quick to be put on video now too, and I'll give you an example, man. In Korea, myself and a LT got involved in a wrestling tussle with another soldier with I think his name was Sanchez. I think his name was Fidel Sanchez. Yeah. So, we went and we tussled and shit, and he balled me up, and then he balled the other LT up as well. I'm not gonna say out the LT's name here. We'll talk offline because that LT is still active, and he's gone.
I already know who it is.
Yeah, I'm sure you probably saw the video. You probably were there, but but shit like that, it now if that was to happen, that shit will go viral in a heartbeat. You know what I mean? Yeah. But we were able to keep it within ourselves up at that time. And even after that, there was no respect lost. You know what I'm saying? So now it's like, from what I understand, is that you can't have a section thing going on because all of a sudden they want to be buddy the next fucking day. Like, nah, dude, we're buddy off work, but work is fucking work, And
I think a lot of it too, man, just even back in when we were all in Korea together, there was a lot of push from leadership, and they were always pretty upset with the fact that NCOs were hanging out with soldiers, but yet they wanted us to live in this family environment, but they didn't want us to hang out with soldiers. So there's always been, and even when I was a younger soldier before my break-in service, it was the same way. Like, we weren't allowed to hang out with our NCOs when we were Joes. Like, it wasn't a thing. Now, I did have a few NCOs, lucky for me, that did like pull me up under their wing and show me that it was okay, and we could be like a friend or family on the weekends or at night, and then right back to work, like you said. Once PT formation hits, or once you're back in uniform, you're back at work. Or if something goes down and you need that leadership, if the leadership is there, that's your leadership. So now you're back into army mode or whatever. But there's always been a problem with fostering a family type environment, yet the NCOs don't necessarily actually really care enough to take care of their family, essentially.
Right. Dude,
I think I was more open to tell you something and talk to you about an issue or a problem because of that than I would someone who didn't have that kind of relationship.
Yeah.
Dude, and it's a trip because I think in Korea especially, you're confined. We're stuck on especially in Hovey. Ain't shit in Hovey, and Tok, you're gonna poke if you go to Tok, and then TDC, you're just gonna go fucking get partied up. But you're bound to fucking have to do things together, and have each other's back. When I was in Fort Hood before Carson, I didn't have that fucking they would call it fraternization, you know what I'm saying? If hanging out with your NCO, but you still had your section parties and section barbecues and shit like that. But it wasn't fraternization, and to the point where like you're at the Ville drinking with your Joe, you know what I'm saying? Like getting fuckered up. Like I know I got fuckered up many a times out there. And little motherfucking Rivera, man, or little supply guy, that motherfucker saved my ass a shit ton of times, bro. We even racially drafted Rose. So he's ours. He's Mexican, bro. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't know that, but it's actually rosé. It's not rose. You know, I miss those days in Korea, man. I really do. Those were some fun times. I think Korea is actually a jewel that is slept on. Motherfuckers rather go to Europe, but Korea, I think, is definitely one of those places that, you know, it shouldn't be a first duty station. I think that it shouldn't be a.
Now it's a rotation, bro.
Yeah, there is no more 115's gone. It's all brigade rotations that go out there and stand in for the 9 months or whatever.
Dude.
Yeah, it's been like that for a couple of years because the brigades here, they be randomly going.
All right, let's settle this here. Have you been light or have you just been mechanized?
Mech.
I got both actually.
All right, so you did a
777 necessarily considered light, but it's towed.
okay. So you've done towed and self-propelled. All right.
Okay.
Which one do you prefer? Which one is artillery?
I don't know. I can't honestly, I can't pinpoint either one, right? I like the characteristics that Paladin Chiefs bring because they bring a whole different type of mindset to artillery. And I say that like I could tell a Paladin Chief, like, hey man, I need you to navigate to this location, whatever. I can give you a grid or whatever. And most of those guys can hop on the PDLCS and get to where we got to go. And that digital troubleshooting, that whole 9 yards, they got it down. The 777 Chief, I think, gives the perspective of understanding and controlling more because there's way more moving pieces that he has to understand and see. And you have, you know, a whole different characteristic of shooting. And then the 119er Chief, it's a smaller section, but you still have that quick ability to jump and move. So their mindset is necessarily maybe faster paced because they're making decisions faster.
All right. And Will, old Rosie Rose, you're mechanized all the way, right?
All the way. But I mean, obviously, I met a lot of guys that were all of them. And I think what Watts is saying is kind of accurate based on like the type of people I know those guys to be, just like quick thinkers, always 119er guys coming in. Those guys were some of the quickest thinkers you could ever meet. And then, you know those guys that can't navigate for anything.
For real.
Hey, Smoke, can you bring us into the firing point?
You know what? I'll tell you what, man. Being that I was on both the Paladin and the motherfucking 119er, I'll tell you what, going from the Paladin to the 119er is a complete 180.
I think it's backwards.
Bro, I was fucking lost in the fucking sauce when I got to the field. I went there and I saw azimuth markers. And I'm like, why the fuck do they have these markers out there for? And I'm like, wait, if the tube is at 3,200, why is 3,200 over here? Dude, I was lost, bro. I'm telling about, I was fucking completely lost, dude. And but luckily, I pick up pretty quick on things, man. And eventually, when I got my section, I was on that bitch, bro. I love the 119er because with the 119er, I felt more in control. And I felt that that was real artillery. I'm not fucking I'm making sure that my bubbles are fucking level, my sight is right, versus pushing a fucking button and letting the computer do the thinking for me. You know what I mean?
You can do manual on a Paladin too, boss.
Oh, pump the fucking brakes. Pull out a fucking Paladin Chief right now. Have that motherfucker do it degraded. PDFCF shut off.
Go. You mean today?
Today.
Oh, I don't. Watts can only talk to that. I don't know.
Okay. I could even talk when I was in, bro, when we were in.
Oh.
When
we used to practice that all the time, boss.
Okay. Maybe you and I, maybe. All right. But anybody else? Fuck no. You go show me a Paladin that has her fucking gun equilibrator right now. I guarantee they'll be trying to fucking elevate that tube. That shit ain't going nowhere, bro. Guaranteed. Am I right, Watts?
I agree.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where most Paladin units that I've seen and gotten soldiers from, asking that question, like degraded, like where does the mindset of your battalion degraded from a Paladin unit? I haven't heard anyone yet that has had a battalion that had any confidence with even attempting to fire degraded on a paladin.
Wow, dude.
Specifically overseas, yeah.
I was gonna say in Korea, dude. I remember that we had that Alpha Juliet or the Annex Juliet, right? That was
Yeah.
and fucking, but they did trust us though. I mean, we were pretty fucking good at what we did because they trusted us to joystick shit. I remember when my fucking my servos weren't working. Was it my servos? Something wasn't fucking working, and
Yeah, your servos were probably up because you couldn't get the lights to back. Yeah.
So I'm over there. I had, they gave me the opportunity, to fucking joystick it, and they had confidence in us. Dude, I remember in Fort Stewart, we tried to fucking do degraded operations because we got to train like we fight, right? Negative, Chief. They were like, nope, you can fucking do notional rounds, but you ain't firing degraded out there. So, I think that's setting up soldiers for failure, to be honest. Because if you know,
of course,
if you don't know how to fire that piece, fucking degraded, you're not an artilleryman. You're a fucking button pusher. You might as well be FTC. You know what I'm saying? And there's no more useless fucking job in the paladin world than a gunnery sergeant. That's just a fucking senior chief, if anything. At least in my opinion.
Site select.
Dude, they what does a gunnery sergeant really do in a paladin? Aside than hand out 5988s. Is that what they are?
Advanced party?
Yeah, who are they taking on an advanced party to do what?
Well, they just try to the damn firing point first.
It's a site select.
Hey, they go find Smoke Watts a place to go hang out under the trees. That's what they do. Like, hey, Smoke, this could be a good spot right here. See everybody, and when first sergeant comes through, you'll know. Dude, it's fucking crazy, man. It's great seeing you all, man. Honestly, it's been quite some time. I haven't seen Watts in a hot minute. I haven't talked to Rose in a hot minute either. Anytime he talks to me, anytime Rose calls me, they're like, hey, bro, you think you can hook me up with a fucking, job rec? Like, they're going to call you, dog. Let them know that I'm good people. Like, I got you, pimp. I got you. Oh, shit. I got a minute left, gentlemen. Let me cut this one out. And then I'm going to shoot y'all another one, and then we'll continue on from there. Is that cool?
Works for me.
All right, too easy. Give us 2 minutes.
Cool.
Now, all right, welcome back, Gunline. By the power of fucking, the pause button, you guys don't know, but it's been about 3 minutes. So we're coming back here. We were discussing, the differences between mechanized artillery and fucking just artillery shit, just because artillery is the shit, Can y'all answer me something real quick before we transition? Is there really a necessity for a fucking 13 Foxtrot?
For what?
A fucking fister. Is there a necessity for them?
Yeah.
For what? So we could blame them?
No. So, I don't know, Watts, if you want to speak to this more intelligently than I can, but when I deployed with 3rd ACR, so a cav unit. And we were a Howbat within a squadron. So our fisters were attached to us. And before that point in time in my career, I never really grasped what it was that they did. But those forward observers were out there calling the grids that we were firing to. So they were sending that information as the cavs. They were embedded with the cav personnel. And they would say, hey, we need illumination, or hey, we need, like, this area needs HE, or whatever they were calling. So those personnel being out there and able to push that data back to the FTC, that's where we get our missions from. So yeah, they're absolutely a necessity.
Okay. You're go ahead, Watts.
No, so depends on how the battalion is arrayed, to where right now my battalion has the fisters are attached back to the batteries. So each battery owns a fist platoon, and they support whatever maneuver battalion. So with having that, now I control the type of fires, and that control allows me to have a better understanding of that scheme of how the battery commander and that battalion commander are going through the process of target links worksheet, how they want to go through the whole process. So I think if utilized well, yes, they're extremely necessary, because you got infantry commanders that have, they can call for fire, but they don't know the technical stuff when it comes to it. And they look really stupid when they're trying to do coordinated illume or anything beyond that and can't call for fire to save their life. You know what I mean? So they're necessary, but I can see why you would say they wouldn't be necessary if we're going to that basic soldier task of being able to run down the call for fire.
And that's what I was going to get to. That was my question, because I see them as glorified infantry. You know, when I was in, we still had the BCTs. We didn't have the Davardi or anything. So they were attached to the infantry units. And God forbid, you know, they're king of battle, as they say. But yet, when they come to the fucking battery, all of a sudden they think they're fucking infantry.
For us, they lived with the batteries. They lived with the Howbats.
Mm-hmm.
They went to the field with us and trained in the field with the Cav Scouts. And even when we deployed, they lived with us, but they did their missions just like they trained in the field. They did the missions with the Cav Scouts. So yeah,
that's cool. And I mean, I'm just saying, do we really need them? I mean, shouldn't that be something that Cav Scouts should already know how to do anyway?
I think they're busy doing Cav Scout tasks in my mind. I don't know. I'm not trying to take away from what a Fister does or whatever, because some of them are my dear friends. So just to be fair, but yeah, I don't know.
I just thought that, you know, infantry being who like they are, they should be able to call for fucking fire. They got indirect fucking capabilities as well with the fucking mortars, so they should be able to call for fire. So I mean, isn't it just a outdated MOS? I don't know.
Well, other side of it, you got to think of it like this. A Fister is our salesman. Put it that way, right?
Basically.
Because infantry commander will be quick to use mortars, because their process of clearing mortars is done by that infantry commander. He can look at the ground and see it's clear and send that mission straight to the mortars, and he'll get rounds out within a minute, versus asking for anything bigger than that 120 is going to go up to brigade.
Okay.
Brigade has to clear, come all the way back down. That might take 5 minutes or more, that whole process. You know what I mean? So they have to be able to sell for us why our rounds are more valuable than that.
And speaking to that point, it might take longer for that 5 minute window to go up through brigade. Might take longer if an infantryman's calling for fire as opposed to that Fister.
Okay. I got you. Look at y'all being salesmen for the Fister. How cute! Oh, you fucking traitors. But anyway, dude, no, it's awesome. I mean, you guys made a good case for them. You know, so I'm not gonna shit on them anymore. All right, I'll shit on somebody else then.
Infantry.
Nah. Cav Scouts.
Yeah, wow. What do they do? Is that what you're asking?
I'm just saying, aren't they just like mechanized infantry pretty much?
So quite literally, you ever watch what's that movie with Mel Gibson, The Patriot?
We don't
know
know
what I'm talking about
anymore, bro.
If you ever see that, they're just like a bunch of dudes riding around on horses. That's all they do. Except for their mechanized horses.
Right. But we don't have horses anymore. And we have mechanized infantry.
Yeah, they roll around in Bradleys instead.
Yep. Right on. All right. Well, let's go ahead and transition on from making fun of those shitbags. By the way, have you guys noticed I've been harping on this on my podcast. I don't know how often y'all listen to this, but I've been harping on these fucking snitches on Facebook, bro. That shit gets to me like a motherfucker. These fools be dime dropping each other out, bro. But anyways, I'm gonna not harp on that. Let's move on to something else. Watts, you got two people that have transitioned out of the military here. You're about 7 years out before retirement, right?
Yep.
So how long have you been at E7 now?
A little over 2 years.
Oh shit! So you about to get your first look here next year, huh?
We just finished up.
Why are you looking all sad, man?
We'll leave it at that.
Okay, gotcha. Well, I don't know how it works now. I heard the system done changed now, so it goes from most qualified.
So they have an OML, so number one all the way down to whatever. I think this time around was like 1,200 and some odd change people qualified this year.
Holy shit.
So I didn't really think, looking at this this current rotation of select and non-selects, to be even worth anything, just because they didn't even finish last year's list.
Right. Okay.
Right. So we're gonna get probably all the way to fiscal year and barely finish last year's list and maybe scrub off the most qualified for this year, but that's about it.
Wow. So I mean, I don't know what that means or how that looks like for your future, but I mean, I see that if you still have 7 years left, I'm sure you're going to pick up that diamond between now and then. I mean, it's fast
I
track.
personally am on track, so I'm not going to let it hinder me. You know, I just whatever. You know, I gotta going to SIL is definitely a good thing, because that's definitely going to put me in positions where, being at the home, I can get into that networking of getting into those jobs, because we have all the jobs there, you know, versus being at said duty station where it's not all artillery and there's only so many of them.
So, do you have any expectations? Like, let's say, for example, you know, you were getting ready to come out. Let's say are you in DEF already?
No, I got one more year left on this contract, and I can.
So you still got that opportunity to say, you know what? I'm pumping the brakes, Chief. I'm getting the fuck out.
Freedom.
So do you have any expectations about when you get out? Like, I mean, since you've been in since, how old were you when you got in?
2021.
So you had a little bit of age under you before you got in, but I mean, do you have any like expectations of what do you think it might be like when you get out?
So I listened to what, like, some of the stuff you've been saying on the podcast, and just kind of like gathering like from people in my circle of how they've gotten out and what they've done. And that's probably, I would say, the hardest question to answer is, what will I do when I get out, and how I'm going to feel about being out. Because even just, you know, the small breaks of being on leave, or even when COVID first hit off and we weren't showing up to work, but, you know, phone calls and all that stuff, just seeing that, it was like, man, I'm probably going to have a real difficult time finding something that kind of fills that void to the same extent of what I joined the Army for. Because, you know, let's get real. If you were an athlete in high school or did anything, organized sports or anything like that, and that sense of camaraderie and teamwork and all that stuff, and you find that in the Army, getting out of the Army after that, there's not very many things that kind of fill that same spot.
I agree with that. And I mean, I'm sure probably Rose has a different point of view, or probably the same. But I know for myself, I had a difficult transition. A lot of us, personally, I'll take myself, for example, I didn't just look at the Army as a fucking job. I know a lot of people do just look at it as a job. I never did. I looked at it as a fucking way of life. You know what I mean? And so coming out was a bit of a fucking shocker, even though I was only in for 10. But so much changed in the civilian sector in those 10 years. Well, it's kind of like Rose saying how much changed from the Army sector when he was out for those 2 years. You know what I mean? And it was that difference. So for me, it was difficult just fucking finding myself being able to relate to fucking regular people, because I was trying to be, you know, a civilian. I was trying to force myself to be somebody I wasn't. You know what I mean? And I felt fake. But then when I was my regular self from the military, who I thought was perfectly fucking normal, I was an asshole, or I was some kind of a fucking, I was mean looking or something. I don't know. How about, did you have any difficulties transitioning, Rose?
Yeah, so I'll go back to the point where I had a break in service, because that break in service, trying to get back into the Army, because being out of the Army was such a culture shock for me, just having been in for like, I don't know, I think it was like 8 years or 7, I don't know, 6 or 7 years before I got out of the Army the first time. Mm-hmm. So I already like expected getting out of the Army again, after going through a med board, to be, a terrible transition for me. But yeah, it was a very difficult transition because, you know, you lose your family because we go back to that whole, like, this is your family thing. Yeah. So you start having like this separation anxiety, and you start having like a wide variety of different mental health problems popping up into your life just because you don't know how to handle it. You've never experienced something like that maybe before. And then, oh, by the way, you got to take care of your real family still. And how are you going to do that if the job that you were doing the whole time, your whole adult life, was quite literally blowing shit up? Well,
right.
You can do avalanche control where they shoot cannons into the damn mountains, but what's the likelihood of that being a legitimate thing? I mean, they do actually do that, but I'm going to guess it doesn't pay well enough to take care of all your kids, just in theory. So for me, I turned to the one thing that we all could probably relate to is I didn't want to be a failure. I didn't want to let someone down. So how do I succeed? So I just looked for a way to succeed. And when I started looking at things as how am I going to succeed to be the best father I can, the best husband I can, or whatever the case might be, I just started looking at ways to better myself. So I use voc rehab. I got my degree in IT, and thank the Lord, baby Jesus, like here I am now, like I'm an IT specialist, and I like what I do. I get paid well. I can take care of the family. And that's really all that matters at the end of the day.
Dude, that's awesome. I mean, to hear, especially like, you know, it still gets those moments where, like, I never thought about it like that, like the, you know, separation from the family environment that we had in the military. I never thought about that, but I always use the term the brotherhood. You know, I miss the brotherhood, but yeah, it's more than just a brotherhood. For anybody that served, you know that it's tighter than tight, and unless you've been there, you can't really fucking explain it. And just the little times that I get like this with you all, after these fucking sessions, bro, I'm fucking better off the evening. Like I have a great fucking evening. It's like dopamine is fucking released in there, you know, and it just sets me smooth, you know. I call this therapy without a therapist for me, honestly. So, I mean, it was a bitch. Like you said, coming out where a job that we'll never see again in the civilian sector, because there's probably like what a few companies that shoot into the mountains cause avalanches. They're probably family ran, you know what I'm saying, and legacied out to their family. We're not gonna do that shit. And then humbling yourself to the realities of, okay, I made X amount of money when I was in the Army. I was in charge of X amount of shit. But guess what? Out here in the civilian sector, that don't mean a motherfucking thing.
You gotta be willing to start over, man, for real.
Bro, unless you were like an E8 or above, it doesn't seem like, you know, if you're E7 and below, you're gonna have to humble yourself and start, you know.
I'll be honest.
My experience, yeah.
Even I know lieutenant colonels that started over in the same job like that I was sitting over here in.
It's crazy, bro. I mean, Watts, have you gotten your education while you've been in?
Some, but I haven't really, you know, I haven't put forth the effort that I should have during the time I've been in, and that's probably one of the things that I regret. But I'm going forward. It's one of my goals going to SILs to get back into it and kind of finish up. I have a good amount of credits. I just need to really apply them to something that's worth something.
I'll tell you something. I spoke to one of our friends, Urena. I speak to him pretty much on the fucking daily. And one thing, he's knocking out college right now, like fucking hustling it. And I was talking with him today. He's like, dude, if I would have known it was this fucking easy back then when I was a younger Joe, I would have knocked it out. So if it's one thing I could tell you, man, if it's definitely something you're, you know, willing to do, is get that education, bro. Because that paper alone, for a lot of college graduates that come out with no experience, it doesn't mean shit. But if you got that paper along with the experience that you have already, that gives you a fucking leg in, bro. So
the DD-214.
That DD-214 don't mean shit, bro. Oh, the DD-214.
Add it all together.
And yes, correct. Yes. Especially if you're looking to stay in the sector, in the military sector, contractor wise and shit like that, definitely helps out. So if it's anything I can tell you, now school isn't for everybody. I'm gonna say that right now, loud and clear. School isn't for everybody. This guy, I'm not a school cat. Vocational. You know what I'm saying? Vocational is a way that I should have gotten. You know what I mean? But my back is too fucked up to do anything. I wanted to do welding, but they were talking about you got to get all these awkward positions. Nah, chief, I ain't about that life, bro. I ain't about that life. Fucking but yeah, dude, if anything, I would definitely push your Joes to fucking get college, you know, and not to get a fucking degree in fucking liberal arts. Get something that's gonna be worth it on the outside. Don't get criminal justice like everybody else does in the 13 Bravo land. You know, get something like Rose said that you can use and apply in the sector out when you get out, you know.
Yeah,
Straight
most
up,
definitely.
I was gonna say when I got out of the army and I had just a little bit of education, and I went and talked to that voc rehab counselor. The lady straight up asked me, she was like, "Well, what do you want to do?" And I was like, I don't know what I want to do," but I knew I couldn't do. I knew I had physical limitations right away. Right. So she was like, "Go out on the website and pull up some jobs that are open and just look at it." She was like, "Look at the position, see what it consists of, look how much they pay you, look what type of education requirements they have, and bring me some ideas." So that's one thing that I did. Well, plus like I was already kind of like a little bit of a nerdy tech kind of guy anyway. So I took a hobby basically and turned it into a career. Yeah. So, but yeah, so what I did was I went home that night after I had that appointment with that voc rehab counselor. And I pulled up like a couple of websites, and one of them was USA Jobs, just because, you know, that's where federal jobs are at. So, and I pulled up some IT jobs and I was just looking at it. And, you know, no bullshit, IT positions don't require any type of education. They just require certifications. So if you have certifications, you're good to go. Just the degree does set you ahead later on after you have those certifications. I did it backwards because I didn't know, but that's what I did. I pulled those jobs up. I looked and saw how much those cats were getting paid. And I was just like, I'm pretty sure I could do that.
Right.
So yeah, like I went back and talked to her, and that was the route I took, and I'm glad for it. So
Nice.
So something to think about is how much are you going to get paid, and what is it that you're going to be doing, and what are the education requirements? So knock those out now, so you don't have to like skate on ice collecting unemployment for however long they let you collect unemployment, because that's a whole nother struggle.
Dude, Watts, if anything I can tell you is, you know, ride out the army as long as you can. It's the easiest motherfucking job I ever had in the goddamn world. Gotta wake up early, sing a fucking song, and then go run. And then what? Fucking, if you're a chief, you fucking go and take your section and train. If you're a smoke, you go play Madden at your fucking house until it's time to have formation again.
Only if, right?
Hell yeah, dude. Man, I mean, it's great seeing y'all, man. I really am enjoying this shit, bro. So what are your next plans? I mean, you're going to SIL. What do they got you going up there to do?
It's the mystery question of the day.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't have a pinpoint assignment yet, so I can kind of get pushed into anything at this point. So there's a couple of things that I'd be interested in, but I've kind of been talking to a couple of guys and may not be the best opportunity for some of the jobs. And that's like the biggest thing is, especially with this new promotion thing, is staying competitive and making sure, you know, staying that one step ahead of your peers. Because I already talked to like the colonel of the Futures Command. So they deal with all the up and coming howitzers, and right now they got the ERCA, which is the extended range program, to where they're working on, you know, pushing more than our current capability range wise with the 155.
No shit.
Yeah, so right now they're at like 40K or something like that.
Damn. What do you think of the digitization of artillery? Do you think that artillery is becoming obsolete? Is artillery going to become MOS that is going to be no longer a viable option or an option anymore, being that they have air support and these fucking drones and all that shit to knock out motherfuckers? Do you think, you know, from your point of view, that's still it?
We will always be an asset. Now, the, you know, modernization of artillery we're behind. because during the whole coin phase of Iraq and Afghanistan, the push was for all of the infantry and maneuver stuff to be modernized, and they didn't think, 2 cents about artillery. I think the most modernized thing we got was a
God damn it.
PGK fuse, but nothing else as beyond that happened. So now with some of the stuff that we're seeing, we're going to start pushing range again. You're going to start seeing updates to the platforms to be able to make us competitive again, as far as with, China, Russia, and whoever else wants to come at it. Because if we look at, in comparison, we're behind. And that's just facts. You know what I mean?
What do you think, Rose? Is artillery a lost fucking?
Just knowing what I know about, like, I'll just say, like, the modern world. My thought process is the drones and all these other things are fantastic ideas, and probably the primary means of using, or primary way of attacking or whatever. But think about an EMP, right? So now what happens? So what do I do now? Now I have to resort to what? Manual gunnery. And well, if that capability is lost and that hasn't been passed down from generation to generation, so to speak, what are we going to do then? We're just going to sit there and hope that shit comes back online before we all die? Like, that's just a terrible idea.
Dude, yeah, you're right. You're right. I mean, CAS is good and all, but the skies sometimes get gray, baby.
That's right.
I
Systems
tell
go
you one
down.
thing, like, my battery, or my battalion as a whole, but my battery has gone through a CTC rotation, fully degraded. When I was a gunnery sergeant, we went through NTC, fully degraded, and we were beating in position ready to fire times, processing times, and everything as a degraded battery than digital batteries were doing.
Shit.
Going out there. So you know what I mean? Like, it's still there. The ability to do it is been proven, but it's just going back to that. Do your leadership, do those people that are in charge have that faith and confidence in the systems? Right. And they're so stuck on, I want it to be digital because it's fast and efficient, versus actually knowing the process of your alternate means of firing and being able to stay in the fight.
Okay. Problem is, some people need to realize that just because one system makes them look better, being dead don't make you look better.
You're right.
You know what? This whole digital shit, like Rose was saying, it's great and all, but dude, what happens when somebody pushes the wrong button, locks out the whole goddamn battery, like old Johnson did out there in Korea when he pushed, what was it, check fire?
Yeah.
Locked out everybody. You can't shoot. You know what I'm saying? Hey, baby.
Well, you can shoot, boss. Just can't use that system no more.
Exactly. Dude, I love manual gunnery. I love that's why I love the 119er Alpha 2, man. That was my baby. I was a big Paladin guy. I mean, I even pumped the Paladin even when I got to 277 out there in Carson. But once I got on that little light piece, man, I love that pea shooter. God damn, I love that pea shooter. And then air assaulting that shit, bro. I've never been more scared but more proud in my life than hitting that motherfucking Q-tip onto that goddamn shit hook, baby. That shit was fun. You ever got to do that, Watts?
No, I pulled off. I got pulled off it because we went on that border mission.
Ah, dude. Did you ever get to do that, Rose? You ever get to hook up?
I did sling load school, but I never got to hook up a 119er.
Oh, dude. That shit. There's nothing worse and scarier than seeing a fucking Chinook right above your head, right? And then you find out that the fucking pilot is a goddamn National Guardsman who's there getting his flight time. Bro, I was shitting bricks, dog, but it was fucking fun. Goddamn right. I said, I'm Staff Sergeant Lopez. I'm doing this shit. Private, you hold up my legs. I'm doing this shit. I used my rank for my privilege at that one. Goddamn, dude. Ah, goddamn. Great times, great times. Any funny stories you recall from back in the day? Come on, somebody's
Oh.
gonna have some
You
fun.
remember in what was that formation when First Sergeant Samuels was messing with what was his name? The big black dude, the combo guy we had.
Big Worm.
Big Worm.
Oh shit! He was the NBC guy.
Yeah, Clark.
Clark.
Yeah, remember he was messing with him. He was fucking with him in formation. Hey, Worm. Yeah, man, come on, Tom. Hey, Worm, bring your ass up here.
Oh, dude, no. The funniest thing I remember was when fucking Spratt was up there, and I had that one soldier Bush, and he had that lazy eye, and he was like, "Why ain't you looking at me, Bush?" And he's like, "I got a lazy eye, First Sergeant."
God damn.
Oh shit! Then
the other one? Ski fell out of formation. Were you there for that?
who?
Ski was the fuck? I don't know how to say his full name. We just called him Ski. So we're standing in formation.
Stojeski, something like that.
Some shit like that, yeah. We're standing in formation over by the bridge, and First Sergeant Samuels come walking, smooth walking up to the formation and shit. And then he about to call the battery to attention, and Ski just fell the fuck out. And he was just like, "Hey, Ski, you all right?" And he was like, "Hey, take him to the aid station and get him checked out." And he was like, "Hey, hold on, is he drunk? Hey, take his ass to his room before he gets his ass in trouble." But you won't see that anymore, man. Like,
no.
Nobody doing shit like that.
Bro, First Sergeant Samuel was one night. I remember one day, dude, I got fuckered up that night in the Ville on a Sunday, and I'm running late to formation, bro, downstairs. And all I see is fucking Top Sam down there. And I'm coming down, putting on my little vest and shit. And he's like, "Motherfucking Lopez." I'm like, "What's up, First Sergeant?" He's like, "You still drunk?" Like, "Roger, First Sergeant." He's like, "Get your motherfucking ass back to your room. And you best not be smelling like shit when you come to 930 formation." Roger, Sergeant. Dude, he took care of motherfuckers, man, But you know what? I mean, I wasn't a shitbag either. It's not like it was a habitual thing, but it was Korea. Back then Korea was Korea. So
tell you what, man, that going to Korea taught me to call cadence for two reasons. A, I didn't like being in the formation because I didn't want to smell the kimchi or the alcohol.
Yeah.
B, I'd rather be in charge of, the motivation, all that stuff. I had fun with that. Me, you, Rose, we passing it off, going back and forth or whatever. Oh man, it was good times right there.
I love calling cadence.
You probably can't even call half those cadences anymore.
Bro.
Nope.
No, dude, I got in trouble by one LT. Not in trouble, but he kind of like eyed me out, like kind of weird, because we were running, bro. And then I called up another. I was gonna, pass the mic, right? So I was like, "Staff Sergeant Medina, if you ain't queer, get your ass out and sing some jeer." And the LT looked at me like, "You can't say that." And I was like, "Yes, I can," and I did. That shit, dude. I love calling cadence. Dude, we were doing a battalion run or a brigade run. I can't remember. One of those fucking runs out there in Carson. And I remember being out there and I was calling my left, right, kill. And I'm talking about, going to the playground with a Uzi and spraying the kids down. And fucking some commander or some LT went to the other officer like, "Man, what's wrong with your motherfucking unit over here? They're talking about killing kids and shit." Like, yes. It's motivation, bro.
Napalm sticks to kids, they say.
Yes. Or clubbing baby seals. Good fucking time. I'll tell you one thing, and I know I'm probably touching on something that you can't touch on, Watts. But I'll tell you what, I could not stand it when females would get out there and call cadence. It did not motivate me worth the shit, bro. If anything, I wanted to fucking fall out just for the fuck of it. Because it's just something about their voice. And mainly it's the white females. Just gonna throw that out there. The sisters got some soul in them. They take your ass to church. You know what I'm saying? But dude, there was this one chick while I was in school. She was ADA. First of all, can we agree? ADA is not field artillery?
A second.
Okay.
Agreed.
Thank you. Because ADA, y'all duck hunters, y'all ain't real. Neither is MLRS. Y'all ain't artillery. Anyway, Unless you fucking hump rounds and sling those motherfuckers, you ain't artillery. Even though I heard that they were fucking gonna start crossing between fucking 13 Bravos and 13 Mikes. You're gonna start integrating them together. I had heard that was when I was in. But anyways, this bitch is talking about what's the sound of the ADA. And I'm like, what is the sound of the ADA? Yeah, dude, that's literally what she did. She said, shh. What the fuck are you doing? Dude, I did not want to run anymore. I was like, this bitch done killed the goddamn mood, bro.
I would have been like,
I don't know, man. I'm just happy I'm not in the military where there's females on my gun line. And I know it's not the kosher thing to say or the politically correct thing to say, but I'll stick with, it's not that they can't do the job, because there are broads that can do the goddamn job. And I've seen many males that can't do the goddamn job. You know what I'm saying? Right? They're called training room and fucking, huh?
Right.
But I mean, what I'm saying is females and males tend to want to fuck, you know, and that could cause a problem on the gun line. But then
it depends on how you're looking at it.
But here's the thing. Then they'll say, oh, but we're a professional army. We're not supposed to be like that. Have you been on the gun line? I've never seen a professional gun line in my fucking life. Because even when a goddamn brigade sergeant major goes out there, all bets are off. That motherfucker becomes the most unprofessional motherfucker in the world.
Why go across the fob when you can go across the tent, bro?
Touche. I don't know, man. I just females and the gun line, I think it causes too much tension. I won't let you. I'm not even gonna reserve your answer for when you get out, and because I don't want a politically correct answer. Anyways, moving forward, gentlemen. It's been a great time hanging out with y'all. Seriously, on the serious side, bro. We got about 5 minutes left. You got any words of wisdom you want to say, Rose, to those that might be listening that are in or out, or how to adjust?
Words of wisdom: just be yourself and don't change who you are. And quite literally, like, you know, the things you learn in the Army, while you might not be able to focus them correctly, like you'll find a way to do it eventually. So you really just have to focus what you used to focus on and focus that in a different direction. You'll be fine. So
maintain your standards that you had in the military. What about you, Watts? Any words of wisdom to those young fucking NCOs coming up? You know, what would be some advice you give that young specialist that, I mean, you probably do it already on the everyday, but what advice would you give anybody that's trying to come into the military? What to expect about the gun line, the 13 Bravo world, and the Army in general?
Coming in, I would tell someone, just be humble. You know what I mean? Humble yourself, because if you're young, you know what I mean, you're gonna get put to work. If you're old, you're gonna get put to work just as much, you know what I mean, or more, because your level of maturity is gonna be leaned on versus someone who's not, where you're gonna have to teach them a little more. So that alone kind of speaks volumes. You know, you got a new private, you know, you're gonna not expect that same level of, you know, a 20-something-year-old dude that comes into your formation where you're like, all right, man, you didn't have a couple jobs or whatever. I expect that you probably understand life a little bit differently, and I can ask different of you. And then a young leader, a young NCO, or an inspiring NCO, if you look at yourself and you don't see a reason to continue, like you don't feel like it's worth your time to help others be better along with whatever you're doing, then you're not in the right position and you're not ready to be that leader.
Right. Hold up. Now that I got a bone to pick with you motherfuckers right now. Which one of y'all sent me Sergeant Hardaway? He was in Korea with y'all. Did y'all know Sergeant Hardaway? Oh my fucking God. This guy was the most ate up fucking sergeant. Came to the unit with a goddamn trash bag with his TA-50 in it. All right, gentlemen?
That motherfucker came from Bravo.
I think I know who you're talking about, but
I went to basic training with that dude.
Woo.
he wasn't in Alpha Battery.
He was in Bravo Battery.
And another gentleman that we all know, I'm sure, did you guys know fucking Sergeant Will? Passed away back, you didn't know him? Sergeant Williams, little black dude, Alfonso Williams. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I knew him. Yep. Sorry, my bad.
Oh, no, you good. That was a cool little character right there. He passed away, of course, a couple years ago. I don't know if y'all knew about that.
Yeah, I was in Carson when it.
Yeah,
when
me too.
Did any of you know a guy named Carlos Diaz?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Wait, which Carlos Diaz? There's probably more than one.
There's one, just one. He was prior service, then he got back in, and he went to Korea afterwards. Then he went to Lewis afterwards.
Yeah, it was. He's the one I had send your plaque to you.
Yes. My plaque that took fucking forever and a day to get back to me.
Yeah, we're talking about two different Carlos Diaz's, but they both had the same path apparently.
Well, Diaz was prior service. I was in 277 with that cat, deployed with him, and then we used to call him Dozy Diaz because he slept a lot. So that motherfucker was lazy as shit. Anyways, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure here. My time's about to run out. I've definitely had a great time with you all. And thanks for coming here on the Gunline, y'all. I appreciate it. I'm gonna drop this. Is it cool if I tag y'all or no?
Go for it, boss.
All right, too easy, man. This shit'll be dropping tomorrow, so y'all can shoot the shit with us. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here with us on the Gunline. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe. And if you like this shirt, I'd rather be on the Gunline. Go check out Artillery Trading Co. I'll fucking put that in the motherfucking YouTube in the description. Love, peace, and hair grease. Gunline out. Bye, motherfuckers.